going to be talking about combos with Enmu, because if you haven't noticed, the way that he goes about getting damage is changed quite significantly. He has to really rely on doing some unique conversions from unblockables, whereas his regular combo routes that you might remember from the last game have been drastically changed to be basically pointless. Stuff like this is like, has actually no point for it. Even if I didn't drop it there, it does no damage. No point spending 2 bars on these, no point even spending 1 bar on this type of combo. Hello? Because it does absolutely no damage. He really has to rely on doing resets into his unblockables, which luckily they are effectively completely unavoidable. Yeah, see that damage? What is that? And even if you think about just using, oh, maybe just it's that special that doesn't do much damage and I'll just do simple routes like this, you're not going to have much luck. He's not doing much damage without these unique ways of going into combos. So, let's get straight to business. Basically, the only way that this character is getting damage is by doing this. Tilt special into unblockable. This sequence is apparently completely unavoidable, so the opponent can't mash out of this, they can't dodge out of it, it's just, you can almost consider it a combo. So, because he does such little damage on regular conversions, you basically, anytime you want to get a hit, just go, okay, I'm going into this. It doesn't even matter what your beginning combo is, because honestly, no matter what you do, as many hits as you can get into this, it's not going to add much damage to the beginning part, we'll be honest. Now, what comes after this is important and can do a pretty good amount of damage. So tilt special, into your unblockable, demon skill, you do something to hit the opponent like a dive attack, dash up, and do something like this into a special. For me, this is the combo of the route that I like to go through most consistently. So tilt special, demon skill, jump, tilt attack, dash, attack, tilt attack, and then you have to slightly delay that and then get a down target combo at the end. As you can see, 40% from a relatively cheap combo. You only spent 1 special and 1 demon skill right at the beginning of the combo, and it is 40% plus whatever tiny bit of damage it would have done at the start, so maybe 45, and honestly you get your resources back. That's pretty impressive if you consider that's what its actual combo damage to be. You can make this do a little bit more damage by making a charged heavy here. Whoops. As you can see, a single touch doing 60 to 70% of the opponent's life bar, and costing honestly very little, is not what I would call a low damage character. He just has unique ways of getting it. So the combos can be a little bit difficult, but if you honestly practice that one route, that's kind of all you're going to need to kill the opponent. And most of the ways that he gets combo routes are going to kind of circle back into the same thing. So if I'm in the air and getting a combo, perhaps from getting my further away unblockable, I can do stuff like this, where I go into my tilt skill, and luckily tilt skill from my aerial target combo can be dashed for free, as long as you're close enough for it to connect. And then you get simple routes like this. I probably wouldn't loop it so many times over and over again, so a realistic scenario would be, oh, I've been doing some block pressure and I go into my unblockable, and I go into this. And I use that last explosion, and go into a grab there, and hopefully I don't mistime it. As you can see, even something simple like that does 45% from some block pressure, and once again, not costing an awful amount of damage for almost a 50%er. Pretty impressive if you ask me, and those are the 2 main ways that he's going to be getting combos. If you manage to get this heavy, like big stun from closer, you can actually get really amazing damage, because you can get a fully charged, fully charged armor attack. And once again, purely from an unblockable, 47% is kind of insane. Now, I'm gonna be honest, that's basically all you need to know in terms of combos with Enmu, because he's not gonna be wanting to do much else. Everything else that's complex about the character is to do with neutral, how you get your block pressure, getting like stuff like this to go into your unblockable and keep the opponent locked down pretty well, choosing when to go for these like multi-projectiles like around this distance so I can lock them down into this, and then go once again into the same route that we've already showed off. So that for the, like, if the opponent's in the air and we're getting aerial attacks, we go for this route. If the opponent's on the ground, I can just do anything into this route. And once again, it doesn't really matter what you do at the start, because the start is not going to do much damage comparatively. It's just how you end it. And make sure you don't drop that final part, because that's where a lot of nice bit of damage comes from. Then, yeah, since we don't have much else to talk about in terms of combos, just a few other key pieces of pressure that I would make sure you remember. Things like his target combo push the opponent away so quickly, so that means it can push you from like being really close to the opponent to instantly being in perfect distance to go for something like this. Now, just doing it straight from an attack string can be kind of predictable, so if you do something like this slow tracking projectile, it can keep the opponent locked down for a little bit longer, and if they try to dash out of the way or something, they will have this slow tracking projectile trying to hold them down. And yeah, it's just a lot more tight than going straight from your target combo. Of course, anytime you're throwing around these slow projectiles from this distance, it's a perfect time to cancel into your big unblockable. And I mean, anytime you're up close and you can go for your tilt skill, this on block, this is interruptible by the opponent, but I guess you can try and see if it works. And anytime you go for a throw, it leaves you in distance to either just stand still for a while because it has such a long knockdown, or you can use that time to do like a little bit of a step into a projectile, into another throw, and that's like almost completely unavoidable because it's a very tracking projectile, and yeah, as long as you time it correctly, not like the second time I did it there, it's very hard for the opponent to avoid. It'll track them rolling, you can go for your throw as long as they're still in distance. Very, very, very strong. And one more thing I just remembered I'd want to mention is you can kind of reset the opponent partway through combos. So say I've done something simple like this. I've gone for this type of combo. I can use the new ability to cancel into your heavy attacks on on hit, to cancel into this, and they end up blocking this, and it becomes unblockable, and they get launched by the thing. That's really useful if you're expecting the opponent to just mash buttons afterwards, because it is a very common thing in this game for when people know that they're going to land at the end of a combo to just mash, because they have the landing invincibility frames, and then cancelling into your charged heavy will of course beat that. And then if you think they're going to like jump and dash away, then the other alternate option you have is this. So if they try to dash away, then they're going to get hit by that situation and just get looped. And you're going to do pretty decent damage even if you just off the cuff do random stuff. You'll take a lot of the opponent's life bar. And to be honest, yep, like I've said over and over again, once you add those resets in, once you know that simple combo route and that you're getting combos from unblockables and not from regular attacks, you're going to do tons of damage with Enmu. The final note is that going into Super is unfortunately a little bit hard since it's kind of a slow moving projectile, but if you are at some point in your combo, you're likely to be in the air when you're wanting to use it. Unfortunately, you can't really use it from your, or in that case I could, but you can't really use it from your aerial target combo because a lot of the time they just will not connect properly. So you can either do it from your, this works perfectly always, and yeah, that's basically how I would always do it because not many things link nicely into it, even if you've done something like, if you want to keep it cheaper, I don't think this even works very consistently. Oh, okay. Because of the explosion, it worked, but if the opponent was in the air some other way, like this, this doesn't connect on its own, the opponent will land. So yeah, basically use your dive kick, your special dive kick, and that will combo into it always. And that is combos with Enmu. Sorry if we dragged on a little bit there, but now you know the basic combo route you need to go for, the facts that you need to use unblockables, a little bit of block pressure, and a little bit of resets if you want to keep the opponent mixed up at the end of your combo. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.